have to say no to this war in the Ukraine. There's no way around it. I'm gonna paraphrase and take a lot of the things that people said during the Vietnam War. I was a little baby at the time. Those people didn't do anything to me. Muhammad Ali said the yellow man didn't do anything to me. But you're going to send me over to Vietnam to go and kill the yellow man. Bruce Springsteen sang about that in the 1980s in the album Born in the USA. Okay? Well, guess what? The Russians didn't do anything to me. The Russians didn't do anything to America. And I don't want to send them my money. On the one hand. Okay? I don't want to send money to the Ukraine, I mean. On the one hand. Because Russia did nothing to me. But let's talk about the Ukraine for a second. I got Jimmy Dore here. Great little clip. There was a protest, in case you didn't know, because the mainstream media is not going to cover it. Ron Paul was there. A lot of celebrities were there. Probably about 100,000 people or so, 50 to 100,000 people. People voicing from all different political stripes, left, right, and everywhere in between, according to the video, all right, where people were voicing their disapproval, okay, of funding this war in the Ukraine. Now Biden wants to send tanks. I mean, what are we talking about here? You talk about these oligarchs that run the social media sites, and they talk about misinformation, disinformation, can't spread this, can't spread that. They don't want us talking about this. Misinformation and disinformation is very simply the information that they don't want you to have. So Jimmy Dore alludes to that when he's talking about, let's say for argument's sake, what people don't know. Not because of their own, through their own fault, but because the American media and let's say the oligarchs out there are censoring the voices that would let these people know exactly what's going on.
I think that a lot of people, anybody who knows what's actually happening in Ukraine is against the war. But the problem is the corporate media is in concert against people knowing what's actually happening. People don't know, and that's something we were just talking about before, is that people in America are probably the most propagandized people in the entire world, and they have no idea that they are. Like, at least back in the old Soviet Union and in China, people know that the news is bullshit. People don't know that in America. They think it's real. And they think, like, well, CNN wouldn't lie, Chris Hayes would, you know, until they have to see it themselves, see it happen. And that they know about a story, and so that's what's going on right now. People in America think we're fighting evil, and Putin's evil because he invaded Ukraine. But we're occupying a third of Syria, a country right next door. We are provoked this proxy war. We expanded NATO. Why is NATO's army up right now against?
And yet we were told in the beginning that no, this was an unprovoked attack, which is a lie. It's not a misinterpretation of events or a spin on events. It's just a blatant effing lie. NATO's been doing this for years and pushing and pushing and pushing. I said to a friend of mine at work the other day who's in favor of this war, I said, Putin's a bad guy? I have to dislike Russia in this when it's demonstrable. You can see it over the last 10 or 15 years. They've been pushing. NATO's been pushing and pushing and pushing. And my question is, what would you do as a sovereign nation? You're telling them, stop, stop, stop. If the bully keeps poking me, somebody keeps poking me, I tell them, please stop. They keep doing it. They keep doing it. And they say, please stop. They keep doing it. And they keep, please stop or else it's going to get bad. And they keep, then I'm going to punch them in the face. I gave them 3 warnings. Then I'm going to retaliate. And that's exactly what Russia's doing. Now people say, oh, you're taking the side of Putin. Yes, I am in this case. Why? Should I listen to Sean Penn and take the side of Zelensky, who represents one of the most corrupt regimes in the world? More on that later.
The Russia's army, because they expanded. It wasn't Russia expanding, so people don't know any of this. They don't even know there was a coup in Ukraine in 2014, and they don't know that the CIA instituted it. They don't know that.
C.E. Michael Jones for that one. He'll enlighten you on that.
That the Ukraine government spent 8 years bombing the people in the Donbass to provoke an invasion. They don't know that they've been threatening to put Ukraine in NATO, which is like putting Mexico in a military alliance with Russia. We wouldn't allow that. We certainly wouldn't allow Russian weapons and military bases to be put in Mexico. That's exactly what we're trying to do with Ukraine, and people don't know that. And so I think that these rallies can help raise people like, well, maybe if someone hears something about this rally, or if they see it on YouTube or whatever, it will help raise consciousness. This is all we can do.
And at least people will start searching out the information so that they can make an informed decision. Because right now, the way we see it here at the front line with Joe and Joe, if you know everything about what's going on with this war This what I call the oligarch war. That's what it is. This is a war for the oligarchs. You take down, about 9 years ago, you send in the CIA, who's basically the, the intelligence arm of the oligarchs. They go in, they're going to spread Western values, which are basically, all the transgenderism, abortion, and everything else. Okay. A predominantly Catholic nation, by the way, Ukraine. So send the CIA in there, topple that regime. The left used to be against that, by the way. The left, people like Oliver Stone, used to be against when the CIA toppled regimes. They had no problem installing Zelensky. Okay. So now you got this guy corrupt to the core. Joe Resinello is right. I'd respect him more if he would just wear a suit. Okay. And he's wearing those stupid things to try to make himself seem like a military man. You're not a military man. You're a stooge. Zelensky is what you are. I don't care if Sean Penn calls you a man of integrity. You are a stooge. You are a tool of the oligarch is what you are. But you send the CIA in there. You topple their government. You now have the most corrupt government there is. Joe Biden makes billions off of Ukraine. A ton of money. And his son, okay? They make a ton of money. Our media squashes that, covers it up. Social media says you can't talk about it. Before the last election, Twitter, before it was liberated by Elon Musk, Twitter, okay, suppressed the story from the New York Post about Hunter Biden's laptop. So Biden makes millions. All the oligarchs are making millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars over Ukraine. They're provoking Russia. And why? And this is what nobody wants to talk about. Russia has become a Christian nation. After all those decades of Soviet atheistic communism, systematic atheism, enforced atheism, thou shalt not believe in God, even privately, okay? Russia is a thriving Christian nation. They're not into all this nonsense. They don't want so-called Western values. Ukraine's all about that. E. Michael Jones says Ukraine is the big gay disco. That's what it is. That's why the Hollywood loves Zelensky. He's going to promote all of this. And we have to spend hundreds of billions of dollars of our money to support that. Those are the types of values I want to export to a place like Ukraine. All the stuff that's led to our rot, our political rot, our social rot, our cultural rot, the demise of America. What are we exporting? The destruction of Western civilization. That's what we're exporting. Now, I'm telling you right now, I know this is going to be controversial. I am not anti-Russia in this. And at the very least, I'm anti-getting involved. Let them deal with it. Let NATO clean up its own mess. Let Ukraine keep cleaning up its own mess. And keep us out of it.